Welcome to the Tine Talk Podcast, sponsored by Rack Fuel, premium deer nutrition. Fuel your herd.
Tine Talk, episode 18. Back with the fellas, minus Cole.
4-0 for him.
It's been a minute.
Cole's busy tonight.
Yeah, he must be too busy tuned into Thursday night football. Just forgot.
Hell of a matchup tonight.
He's more worried about his fantasy football team than
Big Broncos
hunting.
fan.
Broncos Saints, have fun with that one.
Yeah, it's a good night to get on the pod. Got a boring Thursday night game. I mean, the last couple nights too, or the couple nights before that, it's been really good weather-wise, but tonight and tomorrow are supposed to be windy. You guys like hunting in the wind at all?
I don't hate it. Honestly, I've had some good sits in the wind, but it all depends on what that wind is like. If it's a cold October wind.
Northwest wind? Yeah. But it's southwest,
coming
I
with
think.
the cold front, yeah. 74 tomorrow, getting warmer into Saturday. So good day to maybe take off, fill some ponds. I know we've been doing a little bit recently, and kind of let the cameras do their work, in my opinion. So, which I've been getting some good ones on camera, but the ones I'm after, of course, are after dark. So I've been seeing every other buck. What did we see Monday night? We had a hell of a sit.
Yeah, well, let's just roll right into that. Our last really good sit that we've had was me and Dustin went out Monday night, and I was filming them, and
yeah, that was
record-breaking night.
It was up there for Wisconsin. I think we saw 9 bucks, which arguably was probably the best sit that I've had here. Not seeing a shooter, you know, obviously when you see a shooter that changes a few things, but for not seeing a shooter, it was awesome. Being it was this early, it was
and not during the rut where they're not walking single file after a doe. They're just coming out to a food source. And in that case, that night it was alfalfa and beans, and it seemed like they liked the beans quite a bit this time.
They did, which kind of surprises me. Usually, I would thought they would be transitioning off the beans into the green a little bit more, but
I think they're at that right stage now where they're mature enough where they're going after those pods pretty hard.
Beans are got to be pretty dry by now, don't they?
Yeah.
Even in the plot.
Yep. Maybe made a difference that I was getting down to, what is it, 29 that night?
Yeah.
It was cold, so they were moving. It was great. I mean, every single buck other than the one that we were trying to see came out, and actually majority of them came right within range and drank out of the pond, and it was fun.
It's a sweet night sitting back there just being undetected by does and fawns, where I just came off a weekend where we were doing doe patrol, and I felt like every single doe that walked by was just staring at me. Everyone that I tried to shoot at got a whiff of me, and then once they do that, they do the little head nod, and then they're like, oh, I want to get a little closer, see what that is. And a couple of them got a little too close and unfortunately shouldered one Friday night again, poured one out. But Saturday morning made up for it, shot one during the doe patrol, and me and Chanson both tagged out on does, and I think we got 6th or 7th place or so. We only got 2 of them. I think there was only 5 or 6 teams that got 3 does. So that's got to be the goal for next year for us.
Out of how many teams?
39, I think.
Damn.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams this year. It was a lot of fun.
You explain a little bit where is that contest and kind of how does it work?
Yeah,
I haven't done that.
Well, it's pretty much based out of the Pepin Sportsman's Club. I think they've been doing it for like 10 years now. I think it was Chanson's in-law that started it, and they've been just doing it for a while, and you get I don't know if it's always been Friday, Saturday, but we hunted Friday morning, Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday night. And Friday morning, actually, it was terrible weather-wise. It was like 60 degrees. And I kind of just went around with the gator like I did last year and dropped one off at like the 4 mile, the Radix blind, then another blind, then I'll just walk back and sat in a tree stand by myself. And Marcus frickin' saw a 6.5-year-old buck that morning. And he knew which one it was, too, because he came back. He's like, is this a Hasbula? I was like, God, you got to be shitting me. Yeah. I wasn't even thinking about bucks that morning. Like, all was on my mind was getting him a doe.
He was in range, too, wasn't he? I mean,
20, 25 yards, maybe. Oh. He took a video with his phone, and I was like, are you serious? Because we were just looking at footage tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I have footage of him from 2020.
2020.
He's either, I think he was 2, but he could have been 3. So he's either 6 or 7 this year.
I would argue he didn't look like a 2-year-old, to be honest with you.
He looked
looking back
3,
he definitely looked 3.
He still just got short-ass tines.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks almost identical. I think he's got maybe one more point.
Probably breeding every doe on the farm.
Yeah. Well, that next year, 2021, was the biggest he'd ever been. Ever since then, 22, 23, and now this year just...
Next year, you'll have to have that short little hit list before we go on the doe hunt and say, hey,
I know.
these couple management bucks.
I should have, because
knock him out.
I'm sure he would have been more than happy to shoot him, too.
Shit,
I mean, the way...
Any deer that's 5+.
Yeah, exactly. But that's like...
Trophy.
He's the kind of deer that you look at and you're like, he does not look like 6 or 7-year-old buck. He doesn't have the body frame on him. He looks like he's been like worn down after the rut.
And
it's
early.
This early, yeah, when he's supposed to be his biggest, which is weird. But
did he look that way like 2 years ago too, or was it? I mean, now if he is 7, he maybe has that
kind of going downhill
a little bit, maybe old.
4.5 and 5.5. I remember his body looking pluff, but when Marcus saw him on the video clip, kind of looked like he was like dragging his back leg or something too. I don't know if he's got an injury that he's kind of
he's getting old, man.
Oh man, I know.
Elderly.
Got to get him a cane. Walk around in a cane.
What is he in deer years?
I know. I've sat there and I've tried to think about that sometimes.
Deer year's got to be like
he's got to be 70.
15 for one. Something.
I was gonna say
maybe
it's probably like
20,
like 12 or something like that, maybe. Well, I guess around here a 3.5-year-old is probably like 90 years old.
Yeah,
it depends on where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're hunting them by the Eid farm.
Yeah. Whoa.
No,
whoa.
you're gonna fuck it up.
It must not.
Oh.
It's a bad joke, anyways.
How about you, Jake? What you been rolling lately? What's been on camera? What you been seeing? What's the rut report?
Me and Cole got that one. I was gonna say new buck, but we did find pictures of him last year. That 8-pointer and that permission piece. He's been kind of all over the cameras, and twice. We had him once last week. He was making a scrape at like exactly 5 p.m. Getting attacked by beetles here.
Bugs out of here, man,
dude.
At like exactly 5. That was on like a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we weren't hunting, and then it was before that cold snap, and then just today he was at that scrape again at like 3:15.
That's wild.
So
it's got to be in there close.
Yeah. And then we have a buck called Farva on the home farm there that he's 4 for sure, maybe 5. He's been kind of all over too. Mm-hmm. And then we got one named Marino. That's a nice 10. He's been kind of... Actually, my dad texted me and Cole this morning that it was a full moon last night. Mm-hmm. He said he woke up late to go to the bathroom or something. I don't know what time he said. And he said he looked outside the bedroom window. There was like 5 deer out there. I think he said 3 does, a little buck, and it was Merino like close to the house. And it was a full moon, so he's looking out with his binocs just in the moonlight, and he could easily tell it was Merino like close to the house.
Not drinking out of the puddle?
No.
No puddle, probably no puddle left anymore.
Yeah, it might not be. It's been dry.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like you got some action then. You got some options, which is
What's
great. But I got a quick one for you. Where do you come up with these names? Farva, Marino.
Well,
Jake's a huge movie guy.
We've been bad about like the last few years. We've been bad about just all sports names.
MJ.
Yeah, all sports names, and then this year I just made some
random
movie names.
Yeah,
Farva.
Did he do anything to earn that name, or that was just
Cole's like, we got to name this one because we had him last year, and he's like got a nice 4-point side, but his right side's kind of weird looking, and he's fat. So I was like, Farva from Super Troopers is fat and weird looking dude, so let's name him Farva.
That's good.
Sorry,
that's
Farva.
good. That's good. How about what's the story of Marino then?
I don't know where that one. Oh, actually,
sports, dude.
Just another sports.
No, it was actually a movie reference. I think from, what's the
Marino?
Dan Marino's in the movie with Jim Carrey.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
Ace Ventura.
Oh.
Yep.
Marino.
We named one. What's the other one? Ace or something. And then Marino was hanging out with another buck.
Gotcha.
That's where it came from.
Gotcha.
I was dumb, I guess.
That makes sense.
Colded that one.
It makes sense.
What happened to Ace?
They roll in tandem like that.
What happened to Ace?
I don't even remember what buck that was. Probably got shot by the neighbors or something.
How many years ago
Close
was that? Two already?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Because Marino's 4, I think.
You got a name picked out for the next nice buck that shows up, or are you just going to wait and see what he's
I'm
like?
winging it all the time.
Well, speaking of next buck that shows up, it's kind of that time of year where unexpected faces kind of roll around. It kind of gets you excited to wake up every morning and go through your cameras and look who's showing up.
Oh, yeah.
It's October 17th today, and there's one right here. Well, he wasn't one that showed up randomly. Mr. Funky right here, he actually got shot on October 17th. It was like 4:50 in the afternoon that my dad shot him, 6.5-year-old buck. And actually the same day, 2022 is when he showed up, I think, for the first time, my dad's buck that he shot last year in 2023.
Yep.
And then the next year he showed up October 17th for the first time too. Then he shot him the 21st.
So he showed up 22, showed up last year 23rd or 23.
Yeah. It's that time of year. He was, I bet you he wasn't he wasn't too far away all summer long, and then they just keep expanding their ranges by the day. And
they do some crazy things this time of year, especially the big ones. And I've had more negative experiences than positives with it. But a couple, I look back to 21. That year I had 2 mega giants on camera. Both of them were dead by the 21st of October, I think. And then the one had went almost a mile from where he was getting pictures of them. So just shows it wasn't prime rut, but when he had something in his mind. He said, I'm hitting the road until I find something. And he found an arrow.
Speaking of looking in for or like patterning, I guess, deer from previous years, me and Cole have been waiting for Snuffy to show back up. We don't have any pictures of him this year.
When did you say it was? Yesterday or something last year that he showed up?
The 17th today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Last year, our first picture was the 16th. And that buck would be huge this year, I think. He had a big frame. He was real heavy. He had like 8-inch brow tines. Jeez. But we don't have any pictures of him yet.
Yeah. Just keep waiting. I'm just waiting for the boys.
Yeah, boys, I'll catch.
You can check your reveal app now if you want. Interrupt the pod.
I'm waiting for just a mega giant to show up in Iowa too. Yep. The camera's been heating up lately there too, though. New bucks been showing up that I haven't recognized from like the summer.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
You losing a few too?
Here and there, yeah. They're not as regular anymore, but they're still kind of around. The ones that I'm kind of trying to go down there after are still around, still showing their faces, still on the scrapes. Yeah. But yeah, I think we nicknamed one and call him Big Dog. Another one I named Titan. Then there's like a 8x7 that there's on camera down there. And I don't know, I was leaning back and forth for the longest time. I'm like, how much is Dustin going to pay me to let him go? But
yeah, right.
It was that one. And then there's that other one that I got really early over on that other spot that you hunted. Yeah, he's 4.5 this year too. I don't know, it'll kind of be a judgment thing, but I think that's my goal this year is a 4.5-year-old. Or I don't really know if I'll go based on score wise or whatever, just whatever gets me going, I guess.
How many spots you got down there?
There's like 3 or 4 that can hunt. Yeah.
You did it right. You get to, it's what now, the 17th today?
Yeah.
17th of October, and you get to focus all in Iowa.
Yeah, I know.
That's super nice.
Rewind a few weeks. I don't think we've had a pod since, but
you're almost forgot I shot a buck this year. It feels like last year, honestly. We better cheers for that one.
Yeah.
Cheers, Jake. Oh shit. We're not drinking Mick Ultras because we're watching our faker. Maybe we are. I don't know. It's hunting season.
Yeah.
Kind of pack on the pounds this time
it's
of year.
Free and cold, so that's fine. There you go.
Yeah, it wasn't even mine either. I got it free too.
All right.
Your buck does seem like it was a long time ago already.
It does, and it snuck up on you. It felt like the first week of season, and then looking back, no, it was week 3.
When did the season open? When was the first day?
It was really 13th, 14th September, whatever that 14th Saturday was.
14th sounds right.
Well, I shot my buck, nicknamed Leroy, buck that me and Dustin had an encounter with the year before as a 4.5-year-old. Mm-hmm. But surprisingly enough, never had any pictures of him in that food plot this whole year.
Where we saw him, yeah.
Besides in June when I first put cameras out in like late June, you could kind of see his brow tine on his one side, and those other ones he was kind of forming.
Yeah.
But after that, disappeared from that plot. Didn't have pictures of him for a while. Then kind of when he was more fully developed, I got him back on top at that water hole. Just a money spot up there. There's oak trees everywhere. There's a big clover plot, and we got 3 apple trees that we planted up there this year too. It's just pretty much, I don't know, it's our ace in the hole that we got up there. It's always provides.
It's good, and you can kind of play the wind up there. Getting there seems a little bit difficult, but you're going around the bedding.
Yep.
It's just a long ride in.
It's something that we learned over the years too, hunting that spot, taking one direction up, because it's way up on top of a ridge, and we used to go right up on one side 4-wheeler trail all the way up to the top and kind of park halfway and get up there. And we just didn't see as many deer. It's like, we know there's deer all around here. There's bedding all over. So then we tried to come in from the other way and kind of park and just come in through that way, and it's been so much better. It's, just a dynamite spot.
You come up through the front now or the back?
The back.
You come up through the back. That's kind of the way me and you did.
Go up through the Enchanted Forest, back through there, and
you're farther away from them points, I feel like.
Yeah.
Where if you come up to the front, you're flirting with danger. Maybe
you will.
there. Maybe that was the difference. I don't know.
You always spook deer when you come up there, but it's like not the herd or deer or whatever that you're going to see that night. It's like ones that are on another ridge, maybe 200-300 yards away. But we're kind of saving this whole ridge that we're expecting them to come from, and pretty much going from the other direction. But that night it was a northwest wind, but I think it was only like 5 miles per hour predicted. And I got up there, and for the first hour or two, it was pretty consistent. I could feel it coming off, hitting my face and going behind me. And then as those early season hunts normally do when you don't have a consistent wind like that, I kept feeling drafts come behind me and like hit my ear and going back where they're supposed to be coming from. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm never sitting up here early season again if the wind speed is lower than 7 or whatever. And I'm just sitting there kind of bummed out or whatever. But then the deer start moving a little bit more. A couple of does came to the water hole pretty early. And then I noticed where they normally come from off this point, a buck and another buck were coming out. And one I noticed right away was Leroy, and another just shitty 8-pointer that looked like he was probably 4 or 5 too, coming out, and it looked like they were just on a beeline right to the bean field. So I got my camera out and I was recording them or whatever, and kind of paid them no attention because they kind of got out of sight, and I lost where they were. Figured they were just in the bean field, and those does were hanging out around me, and all of a sudden I look over and see a rat coming back the other way. I'm like, oh shit, that's him. So he's making his way back. Must need a drink pretty bad. Yep. But yeah, he ends up coming up to the water hole. Wasn't too sure about it. He was climbing up the bank on the other side and kind of looking around, and he eventually made his way up, and he was eating acorns on the edge of the pond there, and slowly worked his way. And I'm sitting in this ladder stand facing this way. The water hole is like right here, and I got my camera arm right here. So I'm like hugging as close as I can to the tree to get my camera arm around my body, and trying to be able to draw back and not hit my camera arm too. So I draw back once he takes that final step and kind of opens him up a little bit more, draw back and shot him. And luckily made a good shot, and he didn't go 50 yards maybe. And yeah, it was just an awesome hunt. I couldn't believe I was tagged. That was the first buck I ever shot in September, actually.
That was pretty cool, September, getting to see one that early.
Yeah, and he was just the prettiest Cape deer I've ever seen in my life. Just so pretty.
Early season Cape.
I've never got one, but I've seen them that time of year that they just finish out so nice.
Yeah.
You have a taxidermist that knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's
well, I had a reveal up there on that water hole, and I got so many pictures and videos of him up there. Just, he wouldn't be daylight all the time, but you knew he was around just how many times he was visiting that water hole. Yeah. And I think he was actually there the night before I shot him. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a break because I've been hunting in Minnesota for the last couple nights after the 6x5, and 2 nights before I shot Leroy, I had that 6x5 13 yards away right under my stand after last light, and God, that was frustrating.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
2 that quick.
That would have been insane.
That would have been wild.
I don't even know. Then it literally would have been Isle, and that's it.
It may happen still.
Yeah, you never know. Still after that 6x5, but yep. Story of Leroy.
What do you got?
Came and went.
That kind of shows too with that spot too. You mentioned your reveal. It's a little bit tricky getting up there. Early season wins, like you said, but as good as it is, if you can kind of let your camera do your scouting to a point, I just feel like that probably makes makes it what it is to especially when you talk about a cell camera. That's you don't got to go up there and check it. Not that it would hurt it anyways if you go up there with
I bought quite a few solar panels, but a lot of the solar panels that I use are spots that I don't want to go up and check all the time. Don't want to go replace the battery trays or whatever. So I went up there and put a solar panel on that one and then on the food plot as well. Got a little scrape post over there that they've been really hammering lately.
We got one. I don't know if the camera's going to shit or we just need some solar panels because we've gotten
at your pond.
No, up in the woods on Dave's. We have a camera and it's low battery notification twice. Cole already changed it once, and it's like down already again. And he changed it like 2 weeks ago.
I've had that happen to one of mine before too.
We don't know if the camera's going to shit or we need solar panel there or what. But
solar panel, yeah. And I've learned too. It's nice to have one of those external battery ones to just put in too. I guess those work the best if you have it with a solar panel.
Yeah, and then I don't know if it seems weird because
was it just during the cold temps too, and that they just started really shutting off, or was it even before that? It was
before that too, yeah. Because he's changed it twice, I think.
Yeah, I changed so many batteries the last couple of days too.
Yeah,
it's that time of year because like you said, that temperature changes and
don't want them dying.
Also, it goes from 100 to 60 and yeah.
This is the last time of year you want them dying.
I know.
This is probably my favorite time of year for getting pictures.
Inventory. Yeah.
I just try to put as many cameras as I can on scrapes, and they may not be hitting the scrapes mid-November, early November when you're hunting, but you're gonna know exactly who is around. So
that picture
that's awesome.
That we sent today, that 8 on the permission piece.
Yeah.
So I put that up. That's kind of a new spot where I put that on the camera because I found it's on a ridge, and I found where 2 big trails cross. I just made a mock, and there was a nice tree there to make a mock. I made a mock pretty early. Didn't really touch it, but now they're ripping that thing up. I just made a small mock, but it's going around the tree branch because you can see it pretty easy in the pictures.
Yeah,
it's that thing is huge on the ground. It's pretty cool to see.
Was it a natural looking branch, or did you put a
natural
rope?
I had to break the branch a little bit because it was a little too high, but it was an actual. I didn't hang a rope or anything.
I've been using a lot of vines this year and a lot of zip ties. You get those little branches that aren't as close as you want them to the ground or whatever, then just go up there and use a couple zip ties and get that vine hanging down there, and man, they hammer that thing.
I do the zip tie thing quite a bit too.
Yeah, it's nice to have those. I used some of that raw scent the other day on some of those scrapes, and that got them fired up.
Yep.
Yeah, I put one out and had 4 different bucks go check it that next night.
Jeez, I gotta
try some of that.
I've had okay luck with them, but I haven't used that yet. That's probably that would make a difference.
Yep.
But
pretty nice.
Sure.
It's getting to be that time of year where the Faulkners start heating up. Isn't early 20s when the biggest bucks were shot?
It is.
Kind of, mid-20s. It's kind of funny you said that.
You better get out in the woods before Dave does.
Dave and Mike literally just texted us. Literally texted me and Cole tonight and said, well, we haven't had anything on camera. We're just not going to hunt this year.
I texted Dave the other day, and he said, I'm like, where are your big bucks at? Because I was kind of showing him a couple of mine that have been showing up recently. And he normally has them, right? And he's like, well, honestly, we don't have shit yet, but I'm not really worried because one of our best years ever, I think, was 21 where he shot splits?
Sounds right, yeah.
I think it was 21, yeah. He's like, best year ever. We didn't have anything all year, and I was bitching and moaning, and then all of a sudden, October 18th comes up, and they had 2 booners show up within 2 days.
I don't know what day what day did he shoot
I think it was 21.
I think it was 2020.
Oh, was it 2020?
Yeah.
What day, though?
Might have even been
It was like the 20th or something. I think it was 2020.
I think it was 2020.
But I almost said the same thing because that year they didn't have a picture of that buck until like a couple days before he shot it.
You're wrong. I think it was 19 because then Tonka was 2020. Yeah, he had.
I don't know if it was because I remember going out hunting that night and I already shot a buck.
Tonka being 2020
early
sounds right, actually.
2020. It's either 19 or 20, I think.
Either way,
yeah.
It's
regardless.
It showed that not a single deer on camera like worth shooting, which is probably for him. You're talking 5.5, 150 plus. So only takes a couple of days. Stuff gets crazy this time of year.
I can't find the pictures, of course.
Well, most recent hunts lately, what was that, Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday night I went out and hunted our Minnesota lease again, and way up on top of a bluff. Had to walk up freaking Mount Everest to get up there, but once I got up there, I was sweating my ass off. And with that northwest wind that night, it was pretty consistent and pretty heavy.
Pretty brisk.
Yeah, I was sitting up there. I'm like, I might get cold tonight. Like, it was cold up there. It was like 55 degrees or so.
Dave shot Tonka in 2020.
So 19.
November.
19.
And
that was right. Dave's on a drought.
Was Splits the year before?
Yeah.
Dave,
went on
deserves to not shoot one for like 10 years.
At least.
Went on a streak.
Guy has like 3 booners, 4 maybe.
Dang.
Yeah.
He's got something, like a horseshoe up his ass big time.
Something.
I went over to Johnny's place. I had to do some work in Eau Claire, and on my way back, I'm like, I might as well go check those cameras over there. And I moved a camera onto the same scrape that I got the last pictures of Johnny's buck before I shot him that night. Brought back some memories.
I bet it did.
I did find it finally. Splits, 2019, October 27th.
27?
Yeah.
I shot my buck 2 days after that. No, 2019, you said?
2019, October 27th.
Yeah, I shot that buck right there 2 days after that.
That was
morning,
fun.
too.
Cool.
That was
Really?
a cold, late. It was cold
It was
front, late
cold as
October.
shit.
It was there were some big ones dying.
Drinking beers around that one. It was cold as shit.
Yeah.
A lot of beers were drank that day. I should say that
I
morning,
revisited
I think it was.
that stand that I sat after we hung out there last Friday. That's where I went doe hunting.
I remember we went back to the tree too that night, which I'm like, shit, is it even worth it, or should we just stay here and call it a day? But
we were standing out in the cold for quite a while.
With the weather,
too.
I had to get out there, which ended up maybe regretting it, but it was had to be done.
Speaking of cold weather, what do you guys do for like clothing wise to stay warm? Do you do anything that you try to do? I think we talked about this last year too, but there's always new things that come out that kind of spark your interest and you try to get on.
I like to sit in the heated huts when it gets cold.
Do you own a tree stand anymore? It's like only on
we got a few,
huts.
which I do enjoy a tree stand. I was just talking to Mitch about it the other day. It's when you're hunting early season over food plot, pond, kind of the perimeter locations, they're really nice. But when it gets, time is right, getting into the timber is something definitely looked forward to, which we really only have a handful of timber spots left.
Yeah.
Just hunting the edges so much.
Hunt the edges with a blind and helps control your scent, and
go hunt your wood stand this year at your grandpa's. You're
Might
gonna have to revisit some
Might
memories.
have to with some.
That'd be sweet.
With that buck around. I actually told Tanner to go there tonight. I don't know if he ended up going, but there was a south wind. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Guy just can't get out of them huts because he takes 3 beers and a steak to cook.
Well, tell him what you were thinking about buying the other night when you were sitting there.
I'm trying to make I might even try to make them and sell them, but a little like a rack piece that goes on top of your heater, so you can actually make.
You just put a steak on the heater the one time.
Oh no! All the new if you ever
like
have a heater in your hut,
steak.
which I obviously know you don't. If you tip it on its side, it shuts off for safety reasons.
Would you season that thing with propane?
Flies.
No,
all the dead mice in there.
Gun season especially, it comes in handy, especially when you go and you're knowing you're going to sit there all day anyways. You're like, well, let's sit this thing out.
Definitely nice for an all-day sit. Like, I remember last year in Iowa, I was sitting all day, every day, in that little tiny hang-on I had. Dude, my ass just...
What kind of hang-on was it? Bigfoot?
Lone wolf.
Lone
It's
wolf?
like an old lone wolf one. The seat's really small.
Yeah.
It sucked.
As nice as the huts are, which they're great, but if I'm not hunting over a pond or a food plot, which I know that they're coming to, I don't want to be in them. It's so hard if you're by yourself, especially. Last year, the one opportunity I had at a shooter was I didn't get them because you're in the hut. You can't hear anything. If they're on a trail, you need to be, eyes open, just head on a swivel the entire time.
It's easy for them to sneak up on you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because during the tree, when you're sitting in a tree stand, especially when the leaves are, dry.
Oh, man.
You can sit there with your eyes closed and be more effective.
It's almost my favorite part of the rut, too.
I was thinking about that the other day. Like, when I was hunting, I was like, I feel like I hear deer coming before I see them.
Oh, yeah.
95% of the time. Yeah.
Unless it rained that morning, like back in 14 when you shot that really big one.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome. I don't think we saw him until he was 30 yards away because the leaves were all
Came
wet.
from right behind us over a hill.
I don't think there's a wet leaf in the woods right now with no rain in the last 40 days plus. I mean, we had
Did
a
you guys go fill up ponds too lately?
We don't have to fill up the Little Woods pond because that one just stays good. But I made 3 or 4 trips up to Chicago Pond, and that helped quite a bit.
That's kind of crazy that you don't need to fill up the Little Woods pond, and it's been there for a while. If you have just the right slope and
I did have to
shaded,
clean it out one time because it silted in, but
you did with your tractor, just the excess mud.
That one I actually borrowed a little mini excavator from work. And did that one really good.
From Johnson Tractor?
Yep, shout out.
Sponsor us on the pod. You should talk to him about that. Come
on. So I did that one. That was 2 years ago, I think, already, and it's been really good since. But this year I had to clean out Chicago Pond because it's kind of starting to do the same thing.
Yeah.
But I just use my tractor. That actually weren't really good. I was scared right away to kind of drive in there. I thought I would just sink down and get stuck, but it wasn't that bad. It was pretty easy. Yeah.
How'd you get out if you sunk in with that thing?
Borrow another piece of equipment from Johnson.
Yeah, I would have been
screwed. They got a long line, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, that's, I don't know, that's awesome. Last Saturday, like I said, I spent a ton of time filling the one pond, which needs to be cleaned out probably every 3 years to keep it from doing this. But
yeah,
we put a lot of water in there, but it's big and spread out, so to actually get a deep spot is hard. The guy almost should have just drove the side-by-side in there just to make some tire tracks because you can put a lot of water in, but if your water is only 2 inches deep, it dries out pretty quick. I can just looking from my trail camera, it's already kind of concerning. You know, if it doesn't rain again in the next 10 days, I almost want to go fill it again. Either.
That's the thing I can notice about our 2 ponds that Larry made. The Little Woods it's on a slope, so it gets a lot of runoff. That one stays good like all the time.
My dad swears by doing that too. All the ones we have in the woods right now he just makes a huge, literally he doesn't even like try to make like a circular thing or whatever. He just tries to get all the runoff and then kind of comes around and just makes a bank on the other side for all of it to come down and kind of hold up like that. He just made one this year and it's
the only bad thing about
at the saddle.
Yeah.
Full.
The only bad thing about that is if you get a wet, like a lot of rain in short time, washing out on the backside, you gotta like doctor up your berm unless you got you gotta get like some grass growing on the backside of it or something.
Yep.
I should have my grandpa write me some pointers.
You got that water though.
Probably hundreds.
You know what we did around the Little Woods Pond this year, which I think is awesome. We always just it's been like in that woods, it's like kind of wide open and there's like long grass in there on that top spot. I mowed a bunch of grass around the woods and Cole sprayed it and we planted clover, like a half circle around the pond. And that's been, the clover's grown up good. Super good. This for the first year clover. We're super impressed with it. And there's been a lot of does hammering that.
It may help it from silting in too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
We've considered doing similar stuff like that, and the one drawback, which probably has its advantages too, obviously, but the nice thing with the pond is the deer generally will come there, hit it, and go. You know, if you don't get a ride in and out, you can, they're gone, you're out of there. Whereas with the clover plot or any food plot, period, you risk maybe them sitting there all afternoon, all night when you're trying to get out and you blow them out. Or same thing with the morning sit. You go in, they're sitting there munching on clover, as opposed to coming in there, hitting it, and going.
I did see that.
That was one drawback, but
I sat that pond that we planted the clover like early on one cold front, and I had like 6 does, come to the water, but then they fed in the clover like after dark. So I had to have Dad come get me in the Ranger because I don't want to just get down.
Yeah.
But
And yeah, it's like I said, I'm sure it has its positive. It might kill you $1 just having the clover, but it has drawbacks too.
True.
yeah, I'm like super impressed with how good that clover is around, like in the woods. Maybe it's good. I guess it's in the woods super dry right now, but in the woods it doesn't get burnt up by the sun, I guess. But
yeah, go in there and frost seed it and make it come back even better than.
Yeah, we're gonna frost seed it in the spring.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Well, even this year, like just planting clover, just waiting for next year and kind of planning a year in advance. That whole food plot that we call the Garden of Eden, where I saw Johnny's buck for the first time, planted that whole thing, and it was really late. It was probably mid to late August. We went up there and planted rye and clover and a little bit of turnip mix in there too. Just kind of threw some rack fuel stuff all together and trying to get some clover growing in there because next year it's going to be a bomb clover plot, and not only having that food for next year, but we're kind of thinking about a buck that we have over there that's a 4.5-year-old this year and just waiting for next year, and hopefully he kind of stays around and does the same patterns, and maybe we can get narrow on him next year.
That's how it's done. You always hear that you're planning a year in advance, if not more, especially when you have a 4.5 that is 1 year away from being something special. But
just gotta cross your fingers that he makes it through this year, because another 4.5 that I saw there last year that could have been probably a mega giant this year. R.I.P. Pour one out.
R.I.P. So
that one with kind of that like drop beam over at Johnny's.
Could be.
Dude, is Wardy still alive?
No. He died that year. I think the neighbor shot him. He would have been a sweet buck.
The same year that you shot?
Yep.
I would have liked to see him dead just to see what that was all over his
I know.
side.
Yeah, that was weird because he had that all summer, all through the fall. Jake even got to see it in person.
Yeah, when I was with you and we filmed him, he was pretty impressive young deer. But.
Yeah. I saw him 3 or 4 different times that year. Saw him that night. Saw him another night in that same food plot, and I sat at that water hole one night, and he came 10 yards away from me.
Huh.
Probably had herpes.
So are you it looked that way. So I was 17th today. So go, pass forward the next weekend, next 10 days, we get a cold front. Hopefully, it gets me back in the woods. What's your guys' tactics? Are you gonna still be hunting food? Water, obviously, may be an option with it being as dry as it is.
Yep.
What's your plan?
The bucks that I'm after right now, the only food plots we have over there is that Lady Luck clover plot from Rack Fuel. Mm-hmm. We kind of like I was just saying, planning a year in advance. We planted all of our food plots last year, kind of knowing that we didn't really have a lot of time the year before to go and like till them up and spray them and everything, and drive an hour away to go do that. So planted clover and all of them just to have it come back, and we only mowed it one time, and the clover looks phenomenal. Yeah, we kind of kept it higher just because it hadn't rained for a while too. Just I don't know, you mow it too low and then it dies and
deer
dries
pressure
out.
over there's got to be pretty good too.
There's not a lot of deer over there.
Oh, there isn't.
No, because that Tuesday night deer cast is great. Everyone's seeing a lot of deer. Me and you saw 30 plus the night before.
Yeah.
Saw 2, and I can see this food plot, and I can see a huge hayfield to my right too, and only saw 2 deer all night.
Both bucks too.
Yeah, both bucks. But yeah, that's my plan over in Wabasha until I go to Iowa, is keep after that 6x5, keep hunting around those clover plots. We don't really have any stands that are set in the woods just because of the elevation and how steep it is. It's insanely tough to even get one back there, but I might go out there and try to put a little earth pond or something and fill it up with water back in there too, just in case I do get lucky maybe and take out in Iowa and have some rut days to hunt around here. But that's the plan. Yep. That farm always is really hot early season and then the first 2 weeks in December. So I'm hoping if he's still around, I can hunt him maybe in December too, right around their muzzleloader season, I think it is. But I don't have a muzzleloader, so I'll be going out there with my bow.
Where you were seeing that 6x5, is that basically the same field where your dad shot his huge one?
Same exact field. Yep.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a crazy deer. I wish we could get that in the corner here so people can see it.
I was just telling you about that the other night when I was sitting there. he came out. He's been coming out literally the same exact hole that buck came out of too.
Yes.
So I was sitting there on edge the whole last hour of the night, just sitting there waiting for him to peek his head out and come out. I love those hunts like that though, when the weather is just so like pristine and you had a daylight picture recently. You're just on edge, just waiting for him to come out.
Feels completely different. I mean,
Yeah,
I've had 2 sits like that this year where I left work early to hunt on the cold front, where we had a picture of one of the shooters like either that day or the day before. And I was just like, ready the whole time.
Got tension on the.
You're going
Marino's
into
playing
some expectations and not just hope. You know?
Exactly.
We've all had those days where it's like, well, hard to get up in the morning, or do I even go out sitting tonight? But
yeah,
you know, you're just in a mode for. You're just hoping you see something rather than expecting. So
that's how I. That's the one thing that I loved about hunting public in Iowa.
Oh yeah,
because I didn't have. Where my cameras weren't working very good because there was like no cell service there. My cell cams weren't working. So I was just like, really good hope, good expectations. Obviously, being in Iowa and don't know what's gonna come around the next tree or whatever. But
that's cool.
You're in a good area. I think that's just awesome. I mean, it brings you back to what it was like hunting when we were first starting. At 12, you know, 12
it made like every hunt like exciting.
You had a couple of trail cameras, sure, but you didn't have near what. You know, everybody has now. So yeah, every time you woke up, you felt like something like up there could be the next buck.
You see one walking, you pull your binocs up, you're like, oh, that might be. Oh no, not quite.
I don't know how many times I saw a good amount of bucks down there in that one spot, and like a few of them I spotted like from pretty far away. And like every time I just grabbed my bow immediately. It's like a little 2-year-old, but
got to. The cameras are sometimes as great as they are, they're an unfortunate reality check. Sometimes, you know, but that's kind of fun. That's one thing. If I did go the public route, what I'd look forward to the most is just going out there, not having a clue what you'll see. Just, you know, hunting in the woods. It's been so long since you've been in that position.
I know.
And when's the last time you went to the woods? Not even
with a camera,
without cameras doing part of the scouting for you. It's different. You almost forgot what it's like, or I have at least.
I think I'm going to try to, wanted to this year, but I don't know that it's going to happen, but try some Minnesota public and then stay at my sister's house because she lives over there now.
That would be nice.
So that was my plan, but I don't know that it's going to happen.
I just
middle of October.
Needs to tag out pretty soon.
Yeah, so what are your plans since we're going around the room here? What are your top hit listers? And I want to know your plan of attack. And
plan of attack.
What you're kind of thinking. It's getting in the mind of a big buck killer.
I don't know what they're doing, where they're at.
I don't know. Colt, I told you already, Cole texted me tonight. He wants to go after that 8 on the permission piece.
I think he should.
I would be.
He mentioned he may go after him tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be very cold tomorrow, but
you guys don't have any kind of water on that piece, do you?
No.
Even like a little water tank.
We should just like cut like a 55-gallon drum in half.
Fill it up Saturday and drop it off. I bet you in a week he'll be hitting it.
Dig a little hole and just plant it in there.
Yeah.
That's you'll probably be digging in there and get dirt all over. It's so dry. Was it over on yours or something? They were making a scrape and you could just see all the dust just going away.
They were playing looked like they were playing in the sand.
So you were talking about the 8. What about other spots? Or what about Merino? What about
back home Merino's been
this Merino you speak of?
A nice 10. Dustin wants us to pass him.
What about the young superstar? Where's he at?
He's MIA. Hopefully he's still alive.
You got a couple bucks last MIA. Year, then you've got Snuffy MIA. You got
Ray McLeod.
Ray
McLeod. Yep.
You got the other one. How did Ray ever get his name again? Was that just one of those?
I think Dave named him Ray Finkel.
Okay.
That dude. That's what it was from Ray Finkel from Ace Ventura. Yeah.
Just going down the line of characters.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And then Snuffy, he had a big, huge, his nose was like really fat. And I guess there's like a old cartoon or something that was named Snuffleupagus.
Oh, yeah.
So he just shortened it to Snuffy. That cartoon had a big fat nose, I guess.
Looked like he had a big dip in.
No, kind of, I guess. But it was like his nose. It was like side of his nose was huge.
Maybe he was thrown in upper deckers.
Yeah.
Upper decky.
I should have named him Chetty.
Chetty.
But yeah, I want him to show up. That buck would be huge.
Awesome. He had big ass brow tines too.
Do you think you've seen those pictures of his nose, right, from last year? You think, like, I wonder if that could have got, like, infected and killed him.
Yeah.
Don't want to be negative, but.
True.
Anything's possible. Nancy. They live a tough life.
But you can't start that negativity now. You got to stay optimistic this whole
Always with the negativity.
Yeah, bro, chill.
Who knows? Check your Reveal app right now. He might be on there. Watch
no pictures.
Oh.
Too many cams going.
You got your notifications on. You can see right away. It's that time of year. I need to turn mine on. Earlier in the year, I didn't because I'm just like, I'll just check it when I'm ready.
You don't have like a tone or anything for him, do you? I was at my dad's house last weekend, and he always has his volume super high because he can't hear shit. And we're just sitting in the living room, and he's just got like a one ding for because me and Cole got him on the Tacticam app this year. He never was on him because he didn't want it on there, but
now
he was like, well, you guys never send me pictures, so we just put it on his phone. And we were just sitting there, and his phone was like, it was a cold night, and there was deer moving. His phone, ding, 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 ding. I was like, shut that off.
That's your mom was.
Yeah. I thought that was hilarious. Just his phone was nonstop.
Trying to sleep at night with that and sleeping with one eye open.
I keep my notifications on, but I usually don't like look at the app because it's nice because once you get the notifications down, you can just hold it down on it and kind of look at it without even opening up the app.
Yeah, the little preview or whatever.
Yeah.
And Dustin doesn't know that shitty ass.
Yeah,
I check my app enough. I don't really need the I don't really need the notifications.
Trying to get some footage on the selfie cam with the footage that we had the other night. What's your plan of attack for the bucks?
Well, it's going to be it's what it's been is kind of waiting on the cold fronts, hunting them, and we've had good sits, really good sits actually.
I want to hear your top. What are your top 3 hit listers?
Top 3 hit listers. Number 1 is going to be that buck over on our lease that we had some footage of in the summertime.
What's that buck's name?
Call him Lefty, which right now he doesn't look like a lefty, but the name comes from last year, so we stuck with it because last year he wasn't around a lot, but
broke brow tine.
He had one broken brow tine and a little bit of a goofy side. He had a normal, nice side, which if you'd have matched up, he probably would have been upper 40s type deer, and then he had a goofy kind of side, so we called him Lefty. His left side was strong. This year, both sides are really strong, so he's number 1, but he's been a little bit hard to kind of get a grasp on what he's doing. Luckily we did talk to a neighbor. It's not even the next door neighbor. He's probably about a half mile to a mile away, and he's got pictures of him too. So it kind of gives me a little bit of an idea, maybe. Knowing he's still alive, that's obviously good news. But the other night he showed up. Was it Tuesday? I sent you the guys the pictures. Cold front again, but midnight. You know, it's hard to get a real grip on what he's doing there. But
making them rounds.
Hopefully, as we come into the rut here, he kind of starts, becoming a little bit more predictable and gets closer to daylight where we can go in and feel like we can kill him. But
bet you he'll be daylight. You just got to be in the right spot when he does.
I know, and
that's the only thing.
I got a feeling it's not going to be. Let's wait and see what the camera says and then go hunt it. It's going to be you better be there because you may not be there very often.
Depends how all in you want to go for that buck, but if you want to encounter him, you got to put your time in and keep hunting around that spot.
What would you do? Would you go after him or go after the other boys?
That other one, you're probably number 2, is pretty nice too.
Yeah, he's nice too, and he's more. I feel like I got a better chance of killing him, just because the way my grandpa's lays out. His history says we've done really good killing the big ones that we've had there. The biggest problem is just getting a big one. It's been 6 years since we've had a deer that's been 150 on camera because they just don't get very old generally in that area.
What's that one? 4 years old, 160.
I think he's 4 years old, 160. Which that's kind of been my rule this year. Is last couple of years actually 5.5 or 160 plus, and I've got $0 to speak for it since I've made that rule. But he's probably number 2. He's a really good one, and it's kind of nice getting to hunt my grandpa, or now my uncle's piece. My uncle Cody ended up buying it.
I love that spot.
It's where I hunted when I was 12 years old and 13.
Shot
had
almost
great
all
luck.
your bucks.
Shot almost all my bucks. It just I've been lucky enough to have quite a few spots to hunt, but for some reason I just end up killing stuff there always.
Yep. Old Faithful. Nothing wrong with it.
And then Number 3 is probably an old brood of a buck that's on the same over on our lease. He's
that 8-pointer.
Yeah, he's probably only going to to score 135, 140.
Shaq with CK.
Didn't know what to name him. But
SHACH.
Shaq's a big dude, so we rolled.
Who the hell is Shaq?
Shaq.
I work with a guy named Shaq. So
did he break a tine?
No.
That was a different one.
Yeah, that was a different one. That was a real wide one, but.
I was going to say, that would suck if he broke one.
He's been a lot more, I feel like he's going to be more killable than the real big one over there. But
yeah, he's definitely seems like he's around a lot more.
And he's 5+, I think.
He's got to be.
It's been a lot of years since I've seen a deer with a body like that. So we'll see.
Like that cow.
Yeah, definitely exciting because you got a handful of really good ones. And actually, on a buddy of ours that I can bow hunt too, I don't have a mega giant on camera that I'm hunting, but I know I got eyes on a buck that the neighbor had, seen, and that thing is one hell of a buck too. So if he ever makes his way over, it's an option.
What's going on there? I don't even know what you're talking about there.
He's up into the hill a little ways, but I'll show you pictures of him. But he's really, really good.
Holding
buck.
Holding out.
So it wasn't even my picture, but he's there. He's in the area. So definitely exciting time of year, but a lot's got to go right in the next couple of days.
Just gonna try and pretty much bounce between hunting lefty and the other buck on your grandpa's then?
Probably until
I
learn something else, which can be any day.
That, yeah.
But yeah,
you can't. Yeah, I think in your situation, they're both freaking awesome bucks. I mean, obviously you'd rather shoot lefty, but at the same time, that other buck's
he'd probably go down as my biggest ever. And
yeah, exactly.
I've been hunting a long time, so
you got to keep hard after him. And I mean. Yeah. When I was hunting Johnny's buck, that was pretty much the only one. But then there was a couple hunts here and there that I hunted over in Modena for that mainframe 12-pointer.
That really big one.
When I felt like I was hunting Johnny's a little too hard, I kind of pulled off. I'm like, well, it's whatever date. I still want to go hunting. Like
I know
October 27th. I'm like, I still want to go. So I'm like, what other buck would I maybe shoot? It's like, yeah, you don't get too many typical 12-pointers around there, but
no,
that one's still around.
No, he got shot that year too.
Nice buck, but that's what's tough though. I'm just going off of past years' experiences here, but there's been a couple of years ago I had a really, really big one on camera, and then had a buck I would shoot, but not a mega giant on camera, right? And the wind was wrong over to hunt the big one, so I go hunt over here, and as I'm sitting there the entire time, I'm just thinking about the buck on the other property.
If that's the case, you got to keep hunting that one.
And it's like, what the hell am I doing here? You know, and
exactly.
So that kind of told me that day on, I'm like, I'm just going to go sit over there when it's right and
100%
focus that way. So seeing those most recent pictures of lefties kind of got me in that mindset.
Got him hooked,
you got to be realistic too. If he's there one time at midnight and ain't there for 2 weeks, I can't kill my season over it. I've done that in the past.
Mitch knew he was all in on Johnny's buck when he passed. What's his face?
Lebo.
At 5 yards.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah. How'd Lebo ever get his name?
His tank of a body too.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that's like hard to decide though. Like if you have one that you're I really want to hunt this big one.
Yeah.
But if he's not around much, it's like
well, like you're in your situation, literally same exact thing.
Yeah, so it's like I really want to give myself a chance at that one, but he's been totally gone.
At least you're hunting the same property where even if you're hunting a different buck, you might see him too.
True.
Yeah, but that's like lately that 8 on the permission piece is around. It's like, do I want to go hunt him?
There, it's a whole different. Yeah. Could be different. It all depends if you're fine with eating a tag for the year, going after a buck that you don't know is there or not.
It's weird because like
they don't taste that good.
Yeah.
No, they don't. It's weird because like I've hunted a few times on the cold fronts, kind of going after Merino, and it's like,
do I want
to? Yeah, it's like, do I want to kill him?
That might be the
honestly like. Yeah, I've never been one to pass many deer, so if I seen him, Merino give me a shot, he's probably in trouble. But the whole time I'm sitting there, it's like, God, I just want to be. Like one thing in my head is we had pictures of Wemby early last year, and he did the same thing kind of for a few weeks, and then he came back like prime time. So it's like
He's gonna do the same
I want to
thing.
I want to at least have a crack at it, but
When did he show back up?
I don't remember the date exactly, but late October.
Late October.
I want to know where he goes.
I think he's gonna show up. I think you guys are gonna
Tanner has a spot that I think where he might go. It's right up across the road there.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Nope,
you're
no
grabbing
pic-
at
Got
straws.
any cameras in there?
No pictures. Yeah, and
Watch him
some
show up
bucks and some
randomly there,
dough.
too.
You know, but yeah, nothing there.
You don't go over there.
He don't go over there. I asked him.
Told him not
But
to.
it's interesting because everybody's got cameras, and I feel like if you talk, you don't really spread around the old pictures and knowledge too much with the next door folks, do you? Because it's got to be somewhere.
I mean, we've talked to, like, Taylor has permission right over the hill, and he said he's not over there either.
Nothing.
I think
Yeah,
I think you two are gonna get a daylight picture of both your bucks within 24 hours of each other. Daylight.
No, we're both going to kill him the
What do you
next
wait?
24 hours.
You wait. When's that going to be?
It's gonna be another week.
I want a cold front around the 20.
It's getting warm. It's going to be
9,
hot
10 days
this
from
weekend.
now. It's going to be
Yeah.
good.
Is it
I'm going to
cool
take
back
Saturday.
down
I'm going
next
to take
week?
Saturday off. I think we're gonna,
Next Saturday.
this Saturday I got to work,
yeah.
and then we may go to the apple orchard and
Ooh,
Ooh,
that kind of
wow,
stuff,
dad
but-
duties.
cutesy fall stuff.
let the good spots rest. And when that weather turns right, we're gonna.
Mitch,
We're gonna
when
go
are
all in.
your dad duties?
You mean guiding for my dad? I mean, yeah. Well, you're.
Dude, it's
I'm
gonna
gonna
be, It's going to be hot this weekend,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
but then
not good.
Too hot for the orchard.
Wednesday, big temp drop.
Oh. Might have to go down to Iowa.
Ooh, what's
Imagine that. Drive 6 hours down, hunt that night, and drive right back after.
One day I was helping
We've
Ted.
done it.
That's about what I did. I left home at like 4 a.m. We did tree stands all day. That night I drove home.
Yeah.
Talk about a long day.
Today I freaking drove
that was
3.5 hours to northern Minnesota. Took maybe 45 minutes to an hour to take pictures, turn around and went home.
I do.
Got new shoes on the old Black Beauty too now.
Did you take
Really?
him to Brantner?
No, I went to Discount Tire in Eau Claire.
Jeez, my guy. I tried to give.
My guy.
I was hoping I
Got
to
him
get a
ordered and
referral
everything.
discount next
Damn.
time I need him, but
Next time.
you blew that one.
Yeah, well, things are looking up from here. I mean, it's getting to be that time of year where your target bucks are slowly. I mean, it's like they're not going to be as consistent on food plots or whatever, but it's that time of year that everyone looks forward to, and you never know what's around the corner once you're sitting in the woods all day waiting for that big boy to come up and
High
hearing that
anticipation.
What
I'm
I've
looking
learned is
forward to it.
if you feel like you've got a chance, you got to get out there, even if you feel like it may be a couple days early. You just don't know when
Yep.
they're going to be gone. They could get shot. So, yeah, the next coming days are very, very exciting.
Late
It's here.
October, man. Gotta love it. Hopefully we can get one more podcast in before I leave for Iowa too, and kind of get some more encounters and kind of talk about what we've been seeing lately. And maybe a couple of shooters showed up in Iowa. You never know, but looking forward to this upcoming hunt in Iowa. Hopefully we all have some luck here down the road, and
Let's get some
Stay
blood.
s-
Let's get some blood on the ground for the next
I
one.
know that
Right?
would be nice. It's been a while already, 3 weeks.
Too long.
Yep. Got to
Wow.
keep trucking. Good luck, everybody. Stay safe in the tree stand and shoot straight.
Thanks for listening.